2011 is going to bring with it a beautiful opportunity for change. And you know, this is something that everyone says every year. We're starting the new year, we're moving into a new world, and we do. We've got a new energy in front of us. But this particular year is going to be the forefront of a change that's going to really kick in 2012, and it's going to hang till 2015. We're really going to be experiencing what is freedom to us and what is power to us, and we're really going to have to dismantle within ourselves this contradiction, because power and freedom within us and within our world and within our country and within all of our mindset fights. You know, there's this struggle going on, and we are in the generation of rewriting it for the entire world to come. So, what an awesome responsibility. Everybody feel the pressure? We'll take a breath. All right, so that's to come. So what we're doing during this year is we are beginning to open up to a time when boundaries can be broken and we can really begin to experience that freedom that we've been talking about. And it comes with truly beginning to refine our consciousness within, because everything in the outer is also within. So this is a time of change where we can dream our dreams, we're breaking boundaries, we're really allowing ourselves to see who we are and what our dreams might be that we'd like to manifest. So during this first month in 2011, we're really going to talk about preparing ourselves for that manifestation. So we all know that within, when we go within and we're touching spirit, the space within is so full of love and so full of peace and so full of truth, right? It's just this beautiful space where you are fulfilled. Yes? And that space is an inward focus to our spirit. Then there's the outer space we go to, where we're looking at the world and we're looking at what's going on. And we may have laughter, but we may also have fears. There may be doubts. There may be feeling smaller than the outer situation. And that is a space where there is an outward focus. And we know the difference, right? We know the time when we're going within, we're actually in the space of spirit. And the time when we're looking out, we're actually in the space of our ego. But we are the choosers. Your ego is a navigational tool. You know, we've learned a lot about our ego over the years, and it's a space within us that allows us to assess what's happening in the outer, and then it brings back data to the chooser. Do you understand? We walk into a room, the ego assesses instantly what's happening, where people are, what's going on, and it moves you to safety. That's its job, to keep you safe and to keep you continuing your existence. So it'll move you away from conflict. Unless you want conflict, it'll move you toward conflict. But it assesses in the outer. And I don't know if y'all were here to see the little play where the files open up in the brain. Do y'all remember the little play we did, Lunch with Cindy, and showed all those files flying, and one thought triggered another file, which triggers another file, which triggers another file, and they're just files of experiences are opening. That's how our ego functions. It looks at the world, and then it opens these files of what's stored up there. What do I know about this? What do I know? The ego does not come back and say, oh dear higher self, oh dear spirit, I've seen something. The ego comes back and says, what can I do now to ensure safety and survival for who I am? And so this is a really important navigational tool, is it not? Because you know, when you're in spirit and you're getting, that beautiful energy, it's so fabulous, I just love, I'm loving God so much, it's so cool. And you open your eyes and you go, how do I apply that? There is no practical way to take all this beauty I've just experienced and make it real in the world, you see? Who deals with the world?
Ego.
Ego. Higher self, spirit, keeps us connected with the inner. So it really is important for us to begin to move the two into oneness. Not to become one, but to become united. Because I know that there are times when you feel like you're totally in your ego and out of control. And someone can stop you in those moments when you're in your ego and you're afraid, I can't do that, I can't. And some loving being of light who knows the truth of you can say to you, now take a breath, and you will say to them, you do not understand. I can't. And there is no reaching you. When you're in your high self, when you're in your beautiful, loving self, that very same issue does not exist. It dissolves. See? And we've been trying to metaphysically walk with a foot in both worlds. And it's challenging, isn't it? But the universe is giving us the opening this year, the key to start harmonizing everything. But it's going to require a little bit of work. We as conscious choosers need to learn how to bring spirit into this world of matter. Easy, huh? Easy. So I'm going to take us back in the scriptures so we can get a greater understanding. For me, this is so insightful, so insightful. If you've studied the Aquarian in particular, you get a much more greater vision of the journey of Jesus Christ. You know, he goes off at 12 and studies with the masters. And he actually talks with one of the masters, Vijayapati, at one point. He's a young man. He's probably 14, I think. And he says to Vijayapati, well, God must truly be disappointed with all these people. And you can just hear that little bit of a teenager in him, that little bit of a judgment. Well, God must just not want to deal with these folks. You know, whereas he grows to become the man who understands. You see? So in the journey of the Aquarian, we see Jesus dealing with his ego. Dealing with his ego. So where I want to take us to is he studied at Heliopolis in the Egyptian mystery schools. And he has just finished his training. And this is a very familiar scripture. 7 sages from the 7 world religions have met at this meeting of the ages, they call it. It happens every age, every new age. And they've decided they want a way to come up with ideas that they can filter through all their religions so that everyone can start getting the truth about God. So they come up with what's called 7 postulates. Each faith giving forth a postulate upon which they all 7 agreed. And they had this beautiful Hebrew sage among them. And they honored him. And they said to him, we are asking you to now create this universal church upon which all these 7 beliefs will be founded. And this is what Jesus said. And I read it to you not too long ago, but it's important for us to hear again. The history of life is well condensed in these immortal postulates. These are the 7 hills on which the holy city shall be built. They are the 7 sure foundation stones on which will stand the universal church. Universal, everyone can agree. In taking up the work assigned to me, I am full of the conscious perils of the way, and the cup will be a bitter one to drink. But I have lost my will in that of holy breath, and so I go my way to speak and act as I am moved to speak and act by holy breath. The words I speak are not my own. They are the words of him whose will I do. Man is not far enough advanced in sacred thought to comprehend the universal church. And so the work God has given me to do is not the building of that church. Talk about overcoming ego. How many of us could have listened to our spirits when we are being asked to save the world, all the faiths, and we are being given the opportunity by every sage of every known faith? We will honor you as master teacher. Will you do this? Don't you know every one of your egos would have gone, I think I can. But he went to his heart, and it took him a day. He'd already been through so many tests over his ego. He went in his heart and he said, no, this is not what my Father's asking me to do. I am a model builder sent to make a pattern of the church that is to be. A pattern that the age may comprehend, the one he was in at that time. My task as model builder lies within my native land, and there, upon the postulate that love is Son of God, and that I am come to manifest that love, the model church will stand. I will select 12 men who will represent 12 immortal thoughts, and these will be the model church. The model church will live, and when the better age shall come, the universal church will stand upon the 7 postulates and will be built according to the pattern given. Jesus knew that you cannot give man a new thought without teaching them to love first. You can give them a new thought, and if the ego is in charge, the ego will still be in charge. 2,000 years we have experienced focusing on love. 2,000 years we have been taught, look, get love in your consciousness. Don't worry about what's happening in the outer. No matter what you see around you, hook up to God. God is love. Christ is love. Christ is within you. Follow the teachings of the Christ. 2,000 years we have been amping up our ability to love. Only after that can we now have new thoughts to direct that love. I hope you understand. Have you ever taught anyone who is in their ego? Any teachers out there? And you give them a new idea, and you just watch them. You know what's going to happen. They just take that new idea and they just swack it the same way they've been swacking every other idea they had. There's no greater insight. There's no greater depth. It's just, give me another magic wand. But you teach someone love first. I am one with Spirit. Infinite love flows through me. Now, try this idea. Now I can take a step. This is where we are today. We are at the precipice of this fabulous beginning of a universal understanding because we have learned to love. This is the fertile ground for new divine ideas. How powerful is this time? I think it's great. All right. Spirit said, when the soul has not been fed, the ego cannot be refined. Why? The soul being fed is the connection with Spirit and love. When we have that satiated sense, we are not in fear of survival. If we are not in fear of the survival, the ego has an opportunity to be refined. If, however, we're not filled with love, what is our ego's job? To keep us alive, to keep us surviving. It's going to be on red alert. I'm being threatened here. I need to do what I need to do. Shut up, people. I'm in charge. If we think of terms of Spirit, think of our history. Spirit takes us into the oneness. We know this. Ego now takes us into isolation. It's me and you and me and you and me and you, and it's me. I'm in charge. I got to make it happen. And it's all up to me. You see? It's all about me. Do you like me? Do you not like me? How do I look? Everything's me alone. Me alone. 2 separate spaces. And we are the chooser in the middle. And for the last age, we've been bouncing from this to this without choosing. And what I would like us to think about today is, if we stood in the center and just said, I am the chooser. Navigation of the outer, I want to be aware and conscious of it, so I want to bring my ego back to myself. Higher self, Spirit, I want you to flow through me. I want you to bring through me. And now we have a uniting of these 2 aspects of being. Very simple, yes? I bring my ego back to myself. I ask that my higher self be fully present in my body. Let's say that together. And mean it when you say it, by the way. I bring my ego back to myself. I ask that my higher self be present in my body. How did it feel?
Good.
Now who is the chooser? I am the chooser. I bring my ego back to myself. I ask that my higher self be present in my body. Now the key to keeping this connection is unity. This last age of Pisces was the age of love, where we really were learning love. This beautiful age of Aquarius that we're just in the feathery energies of is the age of communication. And what communication is based on is a common understanding. You cannot communicate with someone unless there is a common thread of something to begin the communication. a common understanding, a common belief, a common something, a common foundation to start the dialogue. And that's unity. Unity.